Well, greetings and welcome, ladies and gentlemen. I hope everyone's well this evening. This is episode 47 of Karls Spirits. And tonight we're actually going to be looking at another Heaven Hill product. This time it's Heaven Hill Bottled in Bond 7 year. So this is a product that's only been on the market about a year. This is Heaven Hill Bottled in Bond 7 year. Now, for many years, Heaven Hill produced a 6 year bottled in bond that was only available in Kentucky. And the best part was it was under $20. In some places, you could find it for 12 to 15. Now, this was highly sought after by a lot of people. It was realistically considered a very good spirit at a very bottom shelf price. And so in 2018, Heaven Hill discontinued their 6 year bottled in bond. And they kind of went quiet about what was going on at Heaven Hill with their bottled in bond program. And then, predictably, about a year later, in 2019, they introduced the 7 year bottled in bond expression. So they went from a 6 year to a 7 year after waiting a year. So we can kind of assume it's pretty much the same juice, just aged an extra year. It did get a very updated label. That 6 year was a very plain white label, very cheap looking label. Now we've got some color. We got a little gold medallion on it. We've got a little flyer attached to the neck of the bottle. The screw cap has been replaced by a real live cork. And this is now a 7 year bottled in bond expression. It's only been distributed in a limited number of states, and it is scheduled for national release later this year. So we will see. The other thing that Heaven Hill did when they released this 7 year bottled in bond was they doubled the price. Gone are the $20 to $15 or $12 to $15 range. Gone is the $20 and the $30 bottle. This is now a $40 bottle of bourbon. So they took a product that they had a great amount of success with. They let it age an extra year and they doubled the price. So I'm not really sure how I feel about that. I mean, I understand that as a company, they have to maximize their profits. And this is a very cutthroat business, and I get that. But this is almost insulting to the consumer on one hand. You're not fooling us that this is the exact same juice, just aged an extra year. Is that extra year in a rick house really worth a double in price? I'm not sure. So I have no real ambivalence toward them. I'm not really mad at them. I understand it. But at the same token, why take a really good thing and really run it? And I'm not sure they've ruined it. I'm just saying that's what Heaven Hill has done. So this is actually the third product from Heaven Hill we've looked at this week. We have looked at the Evan Williams bottled in bond. We've looked at the Elijah Craig small batch, and now the Heaven Hill bottled in bond. And interestingly, this has 78% corn for a mash bill, 12% or 10% rye, 12% barley. This is the exact same mash bill as the Elijah Craig, aged 7 years. In the term of Elijah Craig, it was about 8. And this, of course, is a bottled in bond. So it is bottled at exactly 100 proof. That Elijah Craig juice was at 94 proof. So it's kind of an interesting comparison between these three Evan Hill products. And I look back at the mash bill of the Evan Williams bottled in bond. So it's still 100 proof. It's probably a little younger. That Evan Williams bottled in bond swapped the rye and the barley. Rye here is 10% and 12% barley for the Heaven Hill. For the Evan Williams, it's 12% rye and 10% barley. So it's a very, very similar drink, just aged a little bit longer. But what does it actually do in the glass? Because that's really what matters. First of all, I know it's dark, but guys, this is a really beautiful dark copper color. This has some great coloring in it that we don't see from a lot of bourbons. The other thing, this has incredibly thick legs that take forever to run down the glass. They just really, really stick. In fact, you saw me swirl the glass. There's just now one little bead starting to run down the glass from that line. So this thing really sticks and holds to the glass. So that's what it looks like, but what does it taste like or it smells like? This is caramel in a glass, just in a couple of brief words. Caramel in a glass. And it is really underpinned by notes of tobacco and honey. So you kind of get that mustiness of a tobacco, but that sweetness of caramel and honey, and just really underlays all of that. And it's really a nice smell. This has got a very, very beautiful nose. But again, we haven't tasted it yet. So this has a lot of flavor in it as well. I get a lot of dark notes. And trying to describe these dark notes, these are not dark fruity notes. Instead, it's more earthy. Yes, I am getting that tobacco and leather taste. Um, it's not dirt when I say earthy. It's just a very earthy tobacco, earthy leather. There's a musty oak spice there. I'm not picking up tons of the vanilla or the caramel, but I'm getting those oak notes that come from things like allspice. There's some sweet corn in here too to add more sweetness to it, to those earth notes. And I would say that the mouthfeel on this is a weird mouthfeel. Okay, it's very thin, but it is it really coats the mouth somehow for being that thin. It really does a good job of sticking to the mouth, and it's a very rich, almost cream-like on the mouthfeel, and it's dry. Again, I would go back to if you're looking at wines. This has a very dry mouthfeel to it. The finish on this, I think, is balanced with that with some cinnamon sweetness, or maybe it's a little bit of that sweet corn sweetness, that oak spice. I think the finish lingers, but not in the terms of proof or burn. I think it really lingers and it just sits on the taste bud, and it really demands that you have a second drink. I think that's the dryness in here. It's just sitting there. So anyway, takeaway. This is interesting to me. How this compares to, let's say, the Evan or Elijah Craig small batch that we did just the other evening. Only thing separating these is a year and 6 proof points. And yes, I know they were probably housed in different rick houses, and they taste totally different. And to me, that's kind of the beauty of bourbon is how you can play with just a couple of little factors, and yet the taste really makes it a totally different juice. And so, kudos to Heaven Hill for really experimenting and playing with their products to get a really good product into our hands. For the record, I prefer the Heaven Hill Bottled and Bond over the Elijah Craig. I know that's not a popular opinion, but that's where I'm going with this. This is a $40 bottle. And at a $40 price point, this has very steep competition. Let's say you have Buffalo Trace, you have Rare Breed, Knob Creek, you have Makers, you have New Riff. You can get for about $45. You can throw in a Four Roses small batch into that price point. So there are tons of bourbons out here for this same point. Is this comparable to those particular bourbons? And I think that's what makes this bottle a really hard decision. Should you buy it? Should you not? That's up to you. Um, I think I would buy a bottle of this very quickly because it has a lot of quintessential bourbon notes that I enjoy. I like the earthy taste. I like the dryness. It's kind of different. But I really enjoy this bourbon. So should you buy this at $40? I don't know. If this was let's say, an $18 6-year product like it was 2 years ago, this would be a no-brainer. This would be my daily drinker, and I'd have a case of it stashed somewhere in a heartbeat. I'm not sure that's what this is yet. I'm going to go ahead and give this 4 stars just because it has some great, great notes to it. Guys, the nose is outstanding. The taste is great. The finish is intriguing. That dry finish that really demands another drink. So I really enjoyed this. Now, I'm holding back on stars because price point, I think there are a lot of other great bourbons out there that are just as great or better. So 4 Karl stars for the Heaven Hill 7-year bottled in bond. So that's my take. And as always, I hope everyone stays safe, peace, and happy pours.